Well, game number 2 is going to get started in about 5 seconds. So, if you are a fan of Liquid HerO, please tweet at him. If you're a fan of MKP, please tweet at him as well. And include the Iron Squid Gaming Twitter
Yes.
name dinger in there. Who do you think will win? Let us know. Up in the top right corner, the man down 0-1, much to our surprise and much to Protoss players' chagrin. It is Liquid HerO.
And spawning down to our bottom left-hand corner, one game up currently in the pink color, or maybe even the blue color. No, he's pink. He goes by the name of Mr. Marine King Prime.
You know, I will say this is, I think, one of my favorite maps to see the PvT matchup on. There's a lot of solid defense set up at the start. A lot of people feel... It's weird. They feel comfort defending as a Protoss against a Terran on 2 bases. And yet Terran still has a big opportunity to deal drop damage on that left ridge of HerO's base, to swing around to the backside to hit the natural.
Yep.
So it's really cool, just the defense from the 2 and 3 base standpoint from Protoss. But then, of course, in the mid game, there's just so much movement that can go on. It's really incredible to see the way the players manage the middle.
And I like the way that you mentioned the fact that, you know, most Protoss players feel comfortable on 2 base with Blink, because Marine King Prime is one of those players, rightly said, that can actually exploit, especially on this map with that ledge on the left-hand side. I'm reiterating this point because I've seen time and time again Marine King Prime break people that have felt so comfortable in that situation. So HerO has to watch every single angle of his base.
Marine King Prime's doing the same thing again. Command center first, it gets instantly spotted by HerO, who will very likely chrono probably not 1 but 2 zealots out.
And interestingly, I mean, HerO did not end up scouting in the first game, but did this game. So he's keeping himself very, very wary of what Marine King Prime is up to 1 game down here. And that's so important to do against a player as tricky as Marine King.
And HerO's hungry. He wants that 5 hit point SCV. He wants it so bad. Ring around the command center. Can he get it? Oh.
That one SCV was actually trying to repair it, but then the probe kind of pushed it out of the way on the pathing and tries to get back to it, but no, it does not before it starts repairing. And meanwhile, elsewhere, is he going to lose this probe as well? Oh! I think
no! He loses it. Oh my god. I think everyone's been there where you see that 5 hit point SCV and you're like, I'll just go for just 5 more seconds and I'll do it. So
true. So true. It's such a temptation to actually try and kill it off, but then you end up losing your own probe and you're like, god damn it, now I've got to send out another scouting probe potentially, or send out another probe that I was going to use to put a pylon down elsewhere. So it's an annoying situation, but HerO has probably been in that situation many a time and can play out of it quite safely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Marine King Prime is doing something that is very old school. He's tessellating his barracks, because a barracks with an add-on is actually tesselatable. So it's going to just produce a very cute and beautiful looking base. HerO chrono boosting out Stalker 1, set himself up nicely. And the big question in my eyes is what he's going to be doing with those gas geysers. If he throws down all 4 of them around 6 minutes, then it's probably going to be robo-focused play with sort of defensive bent to it. But if he goes for just 1 or 2 more instead of getting all remaining 3, then I honestly think that looks a lot more like some aggression.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of the robo style play, even if it's just to eventually get to a robo. But ooh, 3rd base already on the way. So I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, this harks back to what you were actually saying before, with maybe a few gateways and then just going on to a 3rd base really quickly.
And of course, Marine King Prime doing the standard look to things, getting stim first, following it up with a +1 attack. Still no bunker at all. Just sort of parking himself up on his high ground. Actually, not a lot of scouting. And look at that. Look at the tessellation. The tessellation, Kalaris. Tessellation Nation.
I see it. I see it. It's very, very cool. And I mean, technically speaking, from a practical point of view, this makes the tech lab a little bit harder to actually get at, which is pretty nice. But it's very rare that you would have some kind of weird foregate with exclusively zealots being there. It doesn't prevent the stalkers from getting to it. So, you know, it's a very, very small practical use to it in essence.
And there's 2 stalkers from HerO managed to find a juicy SCV kill and are continuing to just kite all these units. Really nice little move there by HerO to just... Oh, looks like he did do just a little trade, a 2-for-1. But given the fact that we're seeing 2 tech labs instead of 2 reactors, I really feel like Marine King Prime is going to be ramping up into more barracks very, very soon.
Well, could quite easily do that. There is factory on the way, and there's the old barracks that you've just mentioned as well. So perfect spotting of that. And as you said at the very beginning of this cast, that 5 barracks aggression that Marine King can pose with these earlier upgrades, because of the 2 tech labs and now huge abundance of marauders, is very, very punishing at times. And HerO is going to be very, very stretched across 3 bases here after taking this base. And unless he can get his production up quickly enough, which actually with 7 gateways now, he does have the potential to actually ramp out the macro to deal with this.
This is going to be a rough position with these units moving up to the top side and HerO moving down to the south. HerO's actually trying to do a Star Tail parting style of play to do a mass barracks, a mass gateway shove right at the start. HerO is spotting this quite early. Will he be able to get the force fields down? Barely manages to get a couple Marine stim, means that MKP can do a little deferral action, but it looks like MKP now moving in. He does have stim and combat shield. His +1 is about 5 seconds from being done. He should have waited, but now MKP is going to pull back and start to realize, oh my gosh, there is a big attack coming. MKP needs to build those bunkers, or he is going to die really soon.
Yeah, HerO dealt with that very, very nicely, and he's also warping in a few units over at his opponent's third as well. He has so many gateway forces, 10 zealots, 7 stalkers. One of them gets taken down very, very quickly by the marauders. MKP realizes he needs to pull some SCVs to try and deal with this. This is so much gateway pressure, and if there are a few more force fields on these sentries, they can easily rip apart this natural. There you go, through.
Oh, the workers all get trapped onto the low ground. That is going to sting hard, but MKP does have 5 barracks. A lot more than you ordinarily have at this point in time, so he will be able to potentially stabilize, but he's going to suffer some massive losses.
Yeah, that's a lot of workers going down. 12 workers, 13 workers, more stalkers rallied in. He had to try and kill off anything that they can do. He can't get high ground vision, unfortunately, but he's still doing a lot of damage on the low ground, really forcing his opponent back economically. And the income tab's looking pretty sorry for MKP right now, as HerO's on 3 base still.
Yeah, oh god. Adding on all the geysers, going double forward. Soon enough, we'll be going Twilight Council, still morphing in a lot of zealots.
This is rough here for MKP. I mean, even the Twilight Council going down as well to complement this. He tries to load some marauders onto the low ground here, but it's not really going to get much done at all. But really nice control, actually, by MKP, considering the position.
He's still pulling back, finding a lot of targets for those marauders. Does run up into a wall of warping.
Yeah, that was nice play there by HerO, just blocking off those units, making sure that they can't do their stim craziness anymore. And HerO, meanwhile, he doesn't care. He's just going for double upgrades. He's just going to go for the Twilight Council and quite easily power out a very, very nice composition off of the back of this with, again, phenomenal upgrades.
You know, the Twilight Council is a little bit late. I mean, Marine King Prime, actually I should say any Terran in the position MKP was in, is going to be doing a big snapback attack once they get 4 or so medevacs. Well, I guess Marine King Prime has to move with 3 since he lost 1, but with just gateway units, you need a lot of force fields to be comfortable against a substantial Marine Marauder medevac army.
Yeah, you do. Or, I mean, in tandem with that, going for the armor upgrades with charge locks is a fantastic use as well. Throwing down force fields down, catching a few of those units on the ramp, he will be forced to lift them up and retreat them. MKP now, actually, just so far down in terms of supply. And with those upgrades on the way, plus charge, if HerO just floods with zealots, there's not really much of anything here for MKP to deal with that.
Yeah, but this is the critical window where Marine King Prime can potentially deal some big damage. Of course, getting cornered a little bit, does pull back, loses one medevac, with that string of pink on the middle on the map. Could spell some problems for HerO. And there's the speed being done. Oh my god, Killar's 27 Zealots. It's almost as many Zealots as MKP has ground units.
Yeah, that's every single zealot there is just going to be. It's just not going to die. I don't know how MKP can pull himself back from this. He's going to try and hit the third, bring down those cannons very, very quickly. But those zealots are going to start swinging in here, trying to tank a little bit of damage. He doesn't want to take the engagement just yet. I don't think. Oh, those feedbacks on the medevacs. That's bad.
And now with all the zealots swarming in, the stimming around the force fields. Nice positioning by MKP, still managing to maximize the damage out of these Marauders, but there's only so much you can maximize when your opponent has that many units. MKP stims a final time with those Marauders, but without any medevacs, they are going to go down so fast.
Wow. Considering what actually happened there, you were right in terms of saying that Marine King had fantastic positioning. He had fantastic control as well. He should not have come out of that engagement as cost effectively as he did do. I'm not saying he was super cost effective, but he was certainly more effective than we were expecting him to be in terms of getting slaughtered. So that was actually I mean, despite still being very behind, that was a good engagement from Marine King.
Yeah, but I mean, you saw there, yeah, that like, even with the 27 speed zealots, it was still, all that HerO had left at the end was around those 8 stalkers.
Yeah.
And MKP really wanted that engagement to happen before the Zealots had speed. That's the timing window that is now closed for MKP. HerO can now just continue to take more expansions, build more Templar. He doesn't even need to build that many Archons. He can just go straight into Storm. He doesn't have to deal with any big aggressive direct engagements. And there's HerO, never missing a beat.
Being so aggressive with just a little poke here and there with the Zealots. That's so annoying for Marine King Prime to deal with, drawing him back. And this is exactly what we were talking about at the start of this series. A Protoss being able to pin back a Terran is a horrible, horrible position for the Terran to be in. And HerO can do anything he wants behind this. I don't know how Marine King can actually pull his way back in whilst HerO is this free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, HerO now is starting to round out the composition with the big mass damage dealing units with the Colossus, the Storm, and of course with the 2-2 upgrades wrapping up, the Marine King Prime is just in a grody position. Is low on reactors on the barracks, so he cannot produce Marines, which are the real damage dealers at this point in time.
Wow, and it looks like HerO here.
Whoa.
Storm trying to catch them as much of this bio as possible. More Storms go down, clipping a little bit of that bio once again. But Marine King was doing a really, really good job of actually repairing those supply depots for just a little bit, trying to keep them alive whilst HerO was breaching that location. And now, I mean, this is going to be Marine King's... This is going to be hard for him. As soon as HerO tries to just converge with a few more units, a few more High Templar, and tries to go for even a few Storms down to the south with a ton of Zealot Warpins, MKP is going to be stretched thin.
MKP just really needs everything clustered together to have some sort of focused damage, but of course, with this amount of units, Storms coming in, Zealots warping in, annihilating all the SCVs at the third base, even if MKP does win this battle against the Archon Zealot, his economy is going to be in shambles. The micro and positioning is so good from MKP, but still, he has to say GG. Too many Protoss units, and that is the HerO that I am more acquainted